If you've ever felt like fear is holding you back, keeping you stuck, or even preventing you from going after your biggest goals, then this video is for you. Today I'm going to show you how you can actually transform your fear into unstoppable motivation. That's right, your fear can become the fuel that pushes you forward. Now, this isn't some fake it till you make it kind of advice. We're going to go deep into the understanding of the real role of fear in our lives, and how to use it as a tool to help you grow, to achieve, and ultimately to thrive. So stick around to the end because I'll be sharing some actionable steps to help you turn your fear into the fire that drives your success. Let's start with a basic truth. Fear is not the enemy. Now I know that sounds counterintuitive because we're often taught that fear is something to avoid or conquer. But in reality, fear has a purpose. It's a natural part of the human experience, and it's designed to help you. See, the problem isn't the fear itself, it's how we've learned to interact with it. Most people think of fear as something that stops them. It creates anxiety, doubt, and paralysis. But what if I told you that fear is actually a signal? A signal that you're on the edge of something important, something that has the potential to help you grow, something that has the potential to help you become better. You see, fear shows up when we're faced with the unknown or we're stepping outside of our comfort zones. But here's the thing. Those are exactly the places where we need to go if we want to experience real progress and transformation in our lives. So instead of seeing fear as a barrier, what if you could see it as a guide? A guide that's pointing you toward the areas in your life that need attention and growth. Here's where the mindset shift comes in. Most of us experience fear and immediately think, I need to avoid this. I'm not ready, or this is too dangerous. But the truth is, fear is showing up to help you expand your capacity, to help you grow into a more capable, a greater version of yourself. Fear isn't a stop signal, it's a green light. Think about it this way. Every time you felt fear in your life, whether it's starting a new job or entering a new relationship or taking a risk, it's because you were stepping into new territory. That feeling of fear was actually an invitation to grow. It was life's way of saying, here's a challenge. Are you ready to level up? And when you said yes, when you moved through that fear, you came out stronger, more confident, and more capable than you were before. Now, let's talk about how fear and motivation are connected. Now, believe it or not, the same energy that fuels your fear can be redirected to fuel your motivation. Fear creates a lot of energy in the body. It makes your heart race, your palms sweat, and your mind go into overdrive. But what most people don't realize is that this energy can be harnessed and transformed into action. Think of fear as raw energy. When you learn how to direct that energy, you can use it to push yourself forward, even in the face of uncertainty. If fear creates urgency, and urgency is a very powerful motivator, instead of letting that energy freeze you in place, you can channel it into taking bold, decisive action. So how do we take this raw energy of fear and turn it into motivation? Here are 3 steps you can start applying right now. Step 1, acknowledge your fear. Don't ignore it. Don't try to push it down or pretend it doesn't exist. The more you resist fear, the more it controls you. Instead, acknowledge it. Say to yourself, okay, I'm feeling fear right now. What is this fear trying to tell me? Maybe it's showing you that you're stepping into something new, or maybe it's revealing an area where you need more preparation. To begin to ask questions from a curious mindset. Step 2, shift your perspective. Instead of seeing fear as a roadblock, see it as a challenge, an opportunity to grow. When you reframe fear in this way, it loses its power to paralyze you. Ask yourself, what is the opportunity here? What can I learn from this experience? This simple shift in perspective changes everything because it moves you from a place of avoidance to a place of curiosity and empowerment. And step 3, take action. This is the most critical step. Fear feeds on inaction. The longer you wait, the stronger your fear becomes. So the key to transforming fear into motivation is to take action. Any action. It doesn't have to be a huge step, but you need to do something that moves you in the direction of your goal. When you take that first step, Even if it's a small step, you break the hold that fear has over you, and you create momentum. One of the most empowering things you can do is to make your fear your ally. Remember, fear is showing up because you're on the verge of growth. It's there to push you beyond your comfort zone. So instead of running away from it, invite it in. When you feel that fear, remind yourself that it's just an energy. It doesn't mean you're not capable or that you're going to fail. It just means that you're stretching into new territory, and that's exactly where growth happens. Some of the most successful people in the world have learned to harness their fear and use it as motivation. They don't let fear stop them. Instead, they use it as a signal that they're moving in the right direction. You can do the same. Fear doesn't have to be the enemy. It can be the fuel that drives you. And everybody experiences fear, from the most successful to the least successful. But the most successful know what to do with it. Now, another important piece of this is learning to reframe failure and setbacks. Now, a lot of our fear comes from the idea that if we try something new, we might fail. But here's the truth. Failure is part of the process. It's not something to be feared or avoided, but something to be embraced. Every time you fail, you're learning, you're growing, you're getting closer to success. So instead of letting the fear of failure stop you, let it motivate you to take action anyway. Failure is just feedback. It's information that helps you adjust your course. Learn from your mistakes and keep moving forward. So the next time that fear pops up and tries to stop you, ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I fail? And more importantly, what's the best that could happen if I succeed? You'll find that the potential rewards far outweigh the risks. Now that we understand how fear and motivation are actually connected, let's talk about some practical steps that you can take to turn your fear into fuel. First, get clear on your goals. When you have a clear vision of where you're going, fear cannot derail you as easily. Knowing what you want gives you something to focus on when fear arises. Write down your goals. Make them specific and keep them in front of you. Second, create a plan. Fear often comes from uncertainty, so creating a roadmap can help reduce that anxiety. Break your goals down into smaller, manageable steps. Each step forward is progress, and progress builds momentum. Third, celebrate your small wins. Every time you take action, no matter how small it is, celebrate it. Acknowledge your courage. The more you recognize your own ability to move through fear, the more motivated you'll become to keep going. To wrap this up, I want you to remember that fear is a natural part of growth. It's not something to be avoided or conquered. It's something to be embraced. When you change your relationship with fear and use it as a tool for motivation, there's nothing that can hold you back. Imagine what your life could look like. Instead of running from fear, you ran toward it. If every time you felt fear, you saw it as a sign that you're about to grow, that you were about to step into something new and exciting. Imagine what would be possible if fear no longer stopped you, but instead pushed you forward. This is how you transform fear into unstoppable motivation. It's about shifting your mindset, embracing fear as part of the journey, and using the energy it creates to take action. The more you do this, the more empowered you'll feel, the more momentum you'll build in your life, and the more progress that you'll make. So here's my challenge for you. The next time you feel fear, instead of letting it stop you, ask yourself, how can I use this fear to motivate me? And then take one small action toward your goal. Just one. It doesn't have to be huge, but it does have to move you forward. Start small. Build your momentum and watch how quickly your fear turns into fuel for motivation. Watch how quickly you become confident in yourself and your ability to handle the ins and outs of life. Now, I'd love to hear about the ways you've been able to use fear to drive you forward, so leave a comment below and let me know, what fear are you ready to face and how are you going to use it to push yourself to the next level? Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope this video is giving you some insights and practical tools to start transforming your fear into motivation. If you found value in this, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more videos on how to create lasting change in your life.